This is the Highly Evolved Podcast. Transmission will begin momentarily. Let's begin. How you guys doing? This is the Highly Evolved Podcast. My name is Stefan. Let's turn on the music and let's begin this podcast. Alright guys. Recently in the past week, last week I think, I want to talk about the blackout in Venezuela and what happened in Venezuela. Apparently, there's a blackout in Venezuela, meaning the power went off through the whole country, I think. And Maduro tried blaming on the U.S. government, saying it's a psyop, tried to instigate a war or a dispute between the citizen of Venezuela and the government, and which the U.S. have nothing to say. The U.S. response said they ain't got nothing to do with that. They're in the middle of a civil war right now between the Communist Party, Socialist Party, and the new government led by elected President Juan Guaido. They're trying to rebel, right? Because it's not doing so good in Venezuela. Right, because recently U.S. side tried to send aid to Venezuela, but Maduro forbidden it because due to past history, when U.S. tried to smuggle aid or try give aid to another country, there was this story that U.S. was implanting weapons within the AIDS crate, and that's how they snuck weapons into the country. Because of that prior history, the Venezuelan government are apprehensive to take any aid, and that's lead to no supply within the government, within the city, and people are practically dying. You know, they need food, they need supply, medical attention, right? But recently there's a blackout. Right? It's all psyop and all this stuff, right? Try to create a diversion. The thing is, this is what happens when you live in a socialistic government. There's the structure is poor structures built right now. Priorities not be taken up because when you look at it, what facility need electricity the most? Hospital. Right now, hospital are facing a lot of death because there's not enough electricity or supply going to the hospital, and you know, equipment need electricity to function, and because of that, kids are dying. Patients are not getting the right treatment. And it's creating this kind of atmosphere within Venezuela, and it shows you this is what happened when you. The reason why I bring this up. This is what happened. This is the kind of shenanigans you can get out of a socialistic country. People are rebelling against the regime right now, the Maduro regime, and people don't like it. And yeah, you could say it's all a psyop and playing the media, but psyop or not, socialism is still not good. I don't like socialism because of our history. My history came from once tried to be a socialistic country until a lot of BS happened and we escaped from that. But yeah, I don't want that to be in the United States. And right now they're disputing. I hope, God forbid, if anything happens, there's no war. Right now, around the world, there's war within every community right now. India and Pakistan are in the midst of war, right? Russia are at a war between NATO, right? And all these war happening. North Korea and South Korea, well, that's peace within the Korean Peninsula. But anyway, beyond that, right? All these things happening. All this war happening. I don't want war. And socialism. Socialism are bad. But I don't know. When you look at both sides, you can't blame Venezuela for being so apprehensive because of prior U.S. administration with their government tampering when they invade, you know, country like Iraq, Libya. This is what happened when you invade country. You get a bad reputation of you trying to overthrow the government. That's why overthrowing the government is, try to interfere is a bad thing. I'm an isolationist, right? I don't believe in interfering with any nation at all. American, we watch our own back, until something happens to us, then we'll intervene. But as of right now, if we are not jeopardized, we should not intervene in any nation because leave a nation to their own demise or their own prosperous. Like a nationalist, I could probably identify myself as a nationalist. Worry about our own self first. This is what the global is doing. Socialism is globalism. That's what it is. Socialism is one world government. One world government is communism. All right. This is why I self-describe as a nationalist because I don't believe in globalism. Globalism. What happened when you put globalism? You're competing with you're competing against the world. You with everybody else in the world. Let's look at this. Right. Let's look at this. Say like you're a company, right? Say like you're a company, right? Your market is in the United States, right? Your say like you are a company and you have another competitor and you're only focusing on the United States. What is globalism? Globalism when you open the market not just to the United States to all the world. Now instead of one competition you have multiple competition. How are you supposed to survive? That means you have to work harder. At first you only have to compete with like one or two competition, like one or two competition that's competing against you. Now when you open the world to everything, you have multiple competition. Now you have 10 competition when the world's open, right? That's what globalism is, and it's hard to compete with everyone. You have to close it down and just compete with a few people. Right now, Americans are competing against the world right now. That's what it is. All these job market. At first, job was abundant only in America. Then we have globalism. Now our job being outsourced to all other country. Now it's hard to find jobs. You see how it works? Globalism is not a bad thing. I mean, globalism is a bad thing. Let me retract that. Globalism is a bad thing. You do not want globalism. Globalism is communism. Communism is socialism. Socialism is Marxism. All right? And these communist people are preying on the lowest hanging fruit, the people who can't think for themselves. All right? That's what the target audience is. These globalist communist scums. And Venezuela is a prime example of a current prime example of why not to adapt socialism. This is why we should not adapt this stupid ideology of everybody is equal. Nobody's equal. It's a competition. When you're born, you're not equal to everybody else. All right? It's called natural selection. But Venezuela is going down the S-hole, man. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. It's like California. This is what happens when you adopt socialism or a liberal ideology around the world. You collapse. You fall down. All right? You don't want to do that. I pray that Venezuela will find an agreement, find the right path. Because right now, everybody's suffering. We need to reduce the rate of suffering around the world right now. All right? Because this argument is not benefiting no sides at all. And the sides that have the power are not helping the situation. They're not cooperating. They're not negotiating. They're not talking. When you don't negotiate, you stop progress. You're unproductive. That's what it is. And they want all these wars. You know why war is so productive, so lucrative? Because when war happens, we need supply. And in order to make supply, you need production. In order to make production, it creates jobs. That's why war is so abundant. War creates jobs. And it boosts up the economy. That's how did you think we got out of the Great Depression? Because of World War II. Not because FDR did the right thing. FDR is a terrible president, in my opinion. All right? But that's why, because the economics is bad right now, this is why they're disputing around the world right now. They want war because of the situation with the economics, with the economy. Because the quickest way to get out of a slump is a war. And people don't know that. Not most people know that. Let me say that. See? War is so lucrative within countries. That's why war. You know who benefit the most from wars? Banks. The bank benefit a lot from the war because they have to lend a lot of money. These Rothschilds, Red Shield, Scottish Freemason, these Illuminatis, jerks. But that's all I say. Venezuela they need they need. I don't know. I don't want to say help, but they need restructure big time. They need some kind of restructures. Hopefully, it doesn't fall down to war. Hopefully, it's a peaceful demonstrations, and there'll be negotiations, and somebody will reach a fair conclusion and a resolution. That's what I hope. But no war. I don't. I'm not proponent of war at all. But on that note, have you guys have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.